What's the latest with Kaisa?
Yeah, well, obviously, all of the group shares are suspended. Kaisa Group, Kaisa Capital Investment, Kaisa Health, and Kaisa Property today. That after we learned late yesterday, that they missed the payments on their wealth management products, which are onshore liabilities. Now, this, Kaisa, of course, came into our focus as the first Chinese developer to default back in 2015. They had that big debt restructuring in 2016. And since then, they've become, among Chinese developers, the third biggest borrower in the dollar bond market. Yeah. So they have about, $11 billion of bonds outstanding, dollar bonds outstanding. So this is, another sign of the issues that are plaguing some of these mid-tier developers. And they did put out a statement saying yesterday the company has faced unprecedented pressure on its liquidity due to these unfavorable factors that we've been talking about for so long now, such as credit rating downgrades and a challenging property market environment, to say the least. So media in China is saying that they missed about let me get my numbers correct here. 12.8 billion yuan, $2 billion US dollars in principal and interest on those wealth management products. If they're not paying their onshore liabilities, which is a priority of the government for these developers, what does that mean for their dollar bond holders with those $11 billion in dollar bonds outstanding?
Steve, I guess for some of our viewers, we are fairly familiar. I wouldn't say we're super familiar with, of course, the likes of Kaisa. We're talking about it now because obviously it's in the news there. Give us a significance, though. Is it simply the company, or does it represent the sort of whack-a-mole that we're trying to follow, really which property developer is coming under stress?
Yeah, were you talking about Evergrande or are you talking about Kaisa?
We're talking about Kaisa. I think everyone knows about Evergrande at this point.
Yeah, you got to keep these track of these things.
Absolutely.
Okay. This is not, with Kaisa, it's not an Evergrande as far as size and scope of their products and their liabilities. Evergrande, $300 billion worth of liabilities and so many notes and coupons that are due in the short term. And they obviously have lots of liquidity crunches and lots of assets they could potentially sell, but haven't been able to. Kaisa is maybe a second rung, but it is not smaller like the Cynics or the Sunaks and the like. As I said, it is among developers the third biggest borrower of offshore debt at issuer. And that definitely, and as we're seeing on the markets right now with the plunging in the high yield market and the bonds, this is a significant risk, not only to the real estate industry, but a symptom of the problems in the industry and something that the Chinese authorities obviously are going to be taking a very close look at.
And when it comes to Evergrande, it seems like bondholders they're looking at somewhere over here near the yacht club behind me.
Well, it's not this yacht club. It's over on the coast this way.
Yeah, I got my geography wrong.
There's a few marinas here in Hong Kong. Yes, it's a $45 million US yacht that is, in name at least, owned by the founder, Mr. Hui. But he has a lot of different, I guess his finger in many different pies as far as the intricate, confusing web of different joint ventures and affiliates and tracking his paper trail. We do know that government authorities in China would like to see him dip into his personal fortune to pay off some of these short-term liabilities, especially in wealth management products. It would be a dent because of the amount of liabilities. I'm not sure he has hundreds of billions of dollars at disposal. But again, his holdings in Evergrande are through a BVI company, British Virgin Islands, so it's a bit opaque as far as how much wealth he actually has. We do know he was paid about $7 billion in dividends from the company since it went public in late, about 2009. He's also, we've seen through filings, outlaid more than $3.3 billion, not only in company shares, but in bonds, as well as luxury products. Not just the yacht, but 3 private jets worth more than $200 million, 2 houses here in Hong Kong on the Peak. You know the Peak.
Yeah.
It's not cheap property.
No, it's one of the most expensive,
yeah, absolutely, in the world. That combined worth about $208 million US dollars. So these are not, under common prosperity, these are things that I'm sure the Chinese government would say, offload these things.
In terms of what's next, we have some coupon payments coming up for Evergrande next week, too.
Yeah, that's right. And that's why everything is in focus right now as far as November 11th is when the 30-day grace period on 3 different offshore bonds totaling about $149 million US dollars. So again, the D-days keep on shifting week by week.